Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narotamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamutiraye. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. We welcome all the devotees to Kerala, Purushottam Kshetra. Today we will be covering many major temples in Kerala. Kerala is also called as Parashuram Kshetra because Lord Parashurama retracted this land from ocean. So after traveling some 20 times, 21 times around the globe and destroying all the Kshatriyas, Lord Parashurama was in search of a place where there is not a single stain of blood. History means is just wars, kings fighting battles and war and ruthless killing, massacres and rivers of blood. So Parashuram wanted a place where there is no stain of blood, very fertile and highly sattvic for propagation of Vedas and to practice Vedas. So after destroying and punishing all the Kshatriyas, Lord Parashurama came to the Western Ghats, the Vindhyachala, Vindhya mountain, and he threw his axe towards the Western Ocean, the Arabian Sea. So a huge tract of land emerged from the ocean, from Gokarna to Kanyakumari. And this whole stretch of land is called Parashurama Kshetra. From Gokarna, the South Canara, Karnataka, and full of Kerala. And many, many deities were installed by Lord Parashuram personally. At least 3 to 4 famous Durga temples, then few Lord Shiva temples, and many Vishnu temples were personally installed by Parashurama in this land. That is why Kerala is called Parashurama Kshetra as well as God's own country. Very fertile, very fertile. And this is the only state in whole of India which has got nearly 44 rivers. You take any other state in Kerala, they may have 3 rivers, 4 rivers, 5 rivers. And this state has got 44 rivers with full of water. And it rains almost 6 to 8 months in a year. Maybe that's why it's called blessed country. And land is so fertile, you can grow anything here. So this is Lord Parashurama's land. Then Lord Parashurama continued his meditation for many, many years here. So Brahmanas, they approached Lord Parashurama and said, can you give us this land so that we will continue Vedas, propagation and the practice of Vedas. We will have a lot of matas and, practice different aspects of Vedas. So Parashurama happily gave this land to the Brahmanas, the 8 families of Brahmanas, and they are called Nambudri class of Brahmanas. They are supposed to be the elite class of Brahmanas, and it is referred in Bhagavatam about this class of Brahmanas, and even Prabhupada writes about them in Chaitanya Charitamrita, where Lord Chaitanya is traveling, Mahaprabhu is traveling to Kerala. So Prabhupada is writing about Bhattataris and Bhattatari parts. They're all different classes of Brahmanas. So Brahmanas divided Kerala into 8, and the 8 families settled there, and they were practicing different Vedas. Some of them are Yajurvedis, some of them are Atharvedis, Samavedis, and different Vedas they were practicing. And that's how you can see so many Lord Shivas and Vishnu temples all over. So let us try to take darshan of as many temples as possible from south. In the south, there is a famous temple called Varkala Sri Janardhan Temple, Lord Janardhan Temple. And this is one among the 3 important temples which Lord Chaitanya visited. Lord Chaitanya visited this temple. This is right on the ocean bank. Very beautiful, very beautiful. On the ocean bank. Just if you walk a couple of 100 meters from the temple, you will reach the ocean. And Lord Chaitanya took bath in the ocean. It's all mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So the history of the temple is very interesting. At the end of Dwapara Yuga and the beginning of Kali Yuga, Lord Brahma and Narad Muni had a very interesting conversation about Kali Yuga. They were discussing about Kali Yuga, and it will be very difficult to control and master senses in Kali Yuga. And Brahma and Narad Muni, they were discussing how people will uplift themselves spiritually, because it's very difficult to control their senses in Kali Yuga. What to speak about spirituality? They don't even remain in the mode of goodness. So finally, Brahmaji said, for the benefit of Kali Yuga, I would like to perform a yajna, havan, in a place. And that will help people, loka kalyanartham, for the benefit of whole humanity. I would like to perform a yajna. And they had this conversation, and Lord Brahma told Narad Muni, you please travel, all over the planet and find the best place so that we can perform this yajna. So the son of Brahma, Narad Muni, traveled all over. And when he was crossing this area on the ocean beach, his Angavastra, his upper garment, fell. And his Angavastra is called Valkalam. And this Angavastra fell in that particular spot, and this name, so that the place was called Varkala, because Valkalam fell. Valkalam means the upper garment of Narad Muni. And Narad Muni found this place is really sattvic. Never a battle took place in this place. There's no history of battle and war in this village, in the stretch of this land. Kings never fought among others, within each other, and there was no bloodshed. And such a sattvic place, no animal was killed, no human were killed. So this must be the best place where Brahmaji can perform his yajna. So informed, because all the other tract of land had bloodshed in Treta and Dwapara Yuga. There is no place where there was not wars. So this was the place selected. And Brahmaji also became very happy about this place, and they came and conducted a huge sacrifice for the benefit of humanity. Thousands and thousands of Brahmanas came there, chanted mantras, prayed to Lord Narayana, worshipped Narayana, Krishna, and there was a huge charity. Brahma personally delivered charity to the sages and Brahmanas. And it was a great program. And the end of the event, Brahmaji felt, I have done this. I have really worked hard. I did this. A tinge of ego, ahankar, ahankara vimudatma karta ahamiti manyate. The egoistic people always think that they are the doer. So Brahmaji had a tinge of ego that, I performed this yajna. So Krishna thought, such a wonderful devotee, he shouldn't have this ego. So Krishna came in the form of a small Brahmin boy and told Brahma, I'm very hungry and I heard some festival is going on. Please give me some food and dakshina. So Brahma said, I have fed the whole world. Millions of Brahmanas are fed here. And you are a small boy. What's wrong? Come on, sit down. We will feed you. So people started serving the Brahmin boy Krishna. And whatever food particles, food dropped on the leaf just disappears. They kept on serving and the food kept on deserving. The whole kitchen got over, the provisions got over, they cooked again and everything disappeared. Then the news reached Brahmaji and Brahmaji was taken aback. He was surprised. Who is this boy? So he came and he started serving personally and the food kept disappearing. Then Brahmaji surrendered to the boy and said, who are you? Why have you come here? And what is the intention of your visit? Then the boy said, Brahma, you performed such a great sacrifice for the benefit of humanity, a great seva. But this ego which you have got right now is not very good for you. I, Janardhan, maintainer of the whole universe, and Lord showed his form and Brahmaji surrendered in this place. So, Krishna, even today, the deity is very beautiful. The temple is a regular Kerala Orthodox temple, and the deities are very beautiful. Krishna, even today, standing with one palm like this, and they say there is always moisture in that palm. It is like when they were serving food for this Brahmin boy, he took a sip of water and offered. That's how Brahmanas eat prasad or bhoga. When food is given to them, they mentally offer it to Krishna, pray, then they take it up. Then they start eating, So the Brahmin boy took some water as a custom and he wanted to offer this to Narayan. But the food kept disappearing. So even today, the right palm of Lord Janardhan is wet. Every day the pujari does abhisheka, that he wipes the deity very well. Still there will be wetness. Always there is wetness in the right palm. And the water oozes from the lotus feet of Janardhan and falls in front of a pond in the temple. Then the water goes and mixes to the ocean. That is why ocean is called a Papanashini. So anybody takes bath in the Janardhan temple, Varkala ocean, they will be cleared of sins. And Lord Chaitanya heard this glory, and 3 days Lord Chaitanya stayed in Varkala and did a heavy kirtan all over the village, and Mahaprabhu took bath in ocean. So such a beautiful temple. And Sri Vallabhacharya came here after knowing the glories of Vishnu Janardhan. And Vallabhacharya came and stayed in this village for 2 weeks and prayed to Vishnu Janardhan. And every day Vallabhacharya was reading Bhagavatam in his ashram. His ashram is like a half a kilometer from the temple. So every day he was reading Bhagavatam and nobody attended here, nobody came to listen to him. So Bhagwan Vishnu Janardhan took a form of a Brahmin boy and every day went to Vallabhacharya's ashram and he sat down and listened to Bhagavatam. So this is such a beautiful temple. Lord Chaitanya had visited, the famous Janardhan Varkala, Vishnu Janardhan temple. This is mentioned in Padma Puran as well as in Chaitanya Charitamrita, and Prabhupada is glorifying this temple. So beautiful place. So we can also pray, and here localites say this is a best deity where you can pray to get rid of ego, ahankar, and Brahmaji did that. I think that will be very much useful for us so that we can pray with our heads down, bow down to Vishnu Janardhan, that slowly we should also get rid of our egoistic attitude. Then we travel a little north from this place. Gradually, we move up and we reach another temple that is also on the bank of ocean, exactly on the bank of river, and the river leads to ocean. Very beautiful place, full greenery. This place is called Alappuzha. Little difficult to pronounce, or you can name it Alapi. That's what they say in English, Alapi. It is somewhere in the middle of Kerala. A huge river, or you can say the backwaters of the ocean that forms a big canal, looks like a river. And it's a very beautiful village where you can see so many houseboats made out of bamboo houseboats people hire, and a very, very beautiful scenic place. And there is a wonderful Krishna temple, Mahakshetra, the Lord who is very fond of Kheer. The temple is known for Kheer. If we go around mid-noon to the temple, we have to stand in a large queue for the Kheer. And the Kheer in Kerala, they call it payasam. And this is a huge, because it tastes nectar. The payasam in this, the Kheer in this temple tastes nectarian. Very beautiful temple, and the deity is called Ambalappuzha Krishna. Little difficult to pronounce. Ambalappuzha Krishna. And the Lord who is fond of Kheer. So beautiful temple. It has got a very sweet nectarian pastime about this temple and how the Kheer came into existence. There was a simple king, not exactly a king, it was something like a zamindar, landlord, having a huge piece of land, kind of a ruler of that place. So he used to cultivate paddy. He had hectares and hectares of paddy field. Once upon a time, paddy cultivated in this small town was enough to feed the entire Kerala for 10 years. So much of paddy got cultivated once upon a time in this place. Right? So he was a bit egoistic. Again, an egoistic story. He was a little bit egoistic. He had the feeling that I am feeding so many people. And this king was very good in the game of dice, like Yudhishthira played, the Pandavas played. He was very good in Chaturan, the game of dice. So Krishna thought, he's a wonderful devotee. He's a wonderful person, this king. He's my devotee. But it is not good to have ego. Devotees shouldn't have ego, and it doesn't fit them. So Krishna wanted to purify this king. So Lord took a form again as a young boy, small boy, very cute. Eyes are like, like lotus petals extended up to the ears. It seems there was a conversation. Why Lord has got lotus petaled eyes? Once Lord Vishnu, Narayana, was sleeping on Ananta. His ear and his eye, they started a conversation. Ear said, I am listening to the holy name chanted by devotees, and whoever chants the holy name will get liberated. And I am doing an important seva, So I should have a major area. Whoever chance will get liberated. So I should have a major area. So the ear started growing and tried to occupy a bigger area on the Lord's face. And his ear and earrings were in the shape of Makarakundala, like a shark, like a fish. Big ear. So immediately the eye said, no, 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 no. You will liberate people, only those who chanted. But in my case, it's not like that. Even if they don't chant, if they simply come in front of me, I will liberate them. So I should have a bigger place. So in this way, the eye and ear of the Lord, they had this conversation and they started growing and growing and growing. The eye grew up from, here to the extended to the ear, and the ear like started growing. So very beautiful. So Krishna came as a small boy to the king's palace, and immediately the security stopped the boy and asked, "Who are you? Whom do you want to meet?" The boy said, "I want to meet the king." And the security asked, "Why?" "That I will inform the king." Very jovially the boy was talking, and the king allowed that boy, and the boy said, "I want to play game of dice with you." And the king was shocked. "You all came all the way to play the game with me?" "Yes." "Okay, chalo, let's play." "No, but there should be a deal." Then immediately king asked, "What deal?" "If you lose one game, you should give me one bag of rice." And the king had so much of rice because he used to cultivate paddy for 10 years. So they said, one game you should give one bag of rice, and for the second column you should give 2 bags of rice, and the third column you should give 4 bags of rice, then 8, then 16, 32, 64, 128, like double, double, double. King said, "Okay, chalo, agreed." And the boy and the king started playing game of dice. And king is like very carefully watching and moving things and making smart moves. But the boy was like, Krishna was like throwing, dice here and there. And surprisingly, Krishna defeated the king. All the games, they played 64 games. And all the games, Krishna won. And the boy asked, okay, Krishna asked, "Okay, give me my rice, give me my paddy, I had to go." So the king called the minister and said, "Okay, give them rice, whatever they want." So they started calculating. For the first game, it is 1 bag of rice plus. Second game, it's 2 bag of rice plus. Then third game, 4 bag of rice plus. Then 8, 16, plus 32, plus 64, plus 128, 256, 512, 1024, 2040. 64 times you have to double it and count everything. Then the minister was like, his heart came out of his mouth. Because he saw, if you have free time in your house, you can calculate this and check it. And it was like a humongous amount of rice. And the minister said, even if we cultivate for 25 years, you don't have this much bag of rice. King took it light, but now he was like very serious. From where we will give? And the boy is telling, "Give me my rice, give me my rice." And he ran to the village and told everybody, "King lost the game with me and he's not giving me rice." And the king was in a shock. This boy is spoiling my name, but I don't have that much rice. Then the king surrendered and the boy gave darshan that he is Supreme Lord. And he said, "You should never have ego. You are my wonderful devotee. Anyway, you have lost, whatever it's lost is lost. You have to supply me. So instead of so many bags of rice, you give me special care." And from that day onwards, in this temple, they are offering a very, very special kheer, and Krishna is enjoying and tasting this kheer. The kheer is very famous in this temple. So devotees, if at all you get a chance to visit this temple, you should never miss to taste the kheer. Very famous temple, Varkala Janardhan Mandir. Then We travel another an hour. We reached a big city called Cochin. That's exactly in the middle of Kerala. That's a very big city called Cochin. And here there is a temple called Tripunitura. Little difficult. Tripunitura. Actually, Srila Prabhupada speaks about this place, and it is recorded in Harishauri Prabhu's Transcendental Diary, volume number 4. In that book, Prabhupada is speaking about this temple, Tripunitura, and the deity is called Purna Traya Isha, the Lord of three worlds. Purna Traya Isha, the Lord of three worlds. Actually, in Australia, when Prabhupada was there in Australia, he met an Indian gentleman who is from Kerala. Then he said, Swamiji, I am from Kerala and a particular village called Tripunitura, and we have very famous Purna Trayesha temple. Then Prabhupada smiled and said, yes, the Lord of three worlds. Very good. And this gentleman gave a little bit of prasad, and Prabhupada honored that prasad from the temple. Then the man said, it is very difficult to preach in Kerala. And Prabhupada said, you master minimum 30 shlokas from Bhagavad Gita. I think Prabhupada said that's enough to preach in Kerala. Prabhupada gave blessings, and Prabhupada heard about this temple, and Prabhupada said, yes, Purna Trayesha, the Lord of three worlds. So Prabhupada has noted about this temple. Very beautiful, huge temple. And the deity form, I'm sure that you won't see this kind of a deity anywhere else. A Lord sitting on Ananta. Normally, we see Lord lying on Ananta from the side. Imagine you are going and standing in the straight in front and seeing the Lord face to face, how it will be. So, Lord is sitting on Ananta, and you can see a huge Ananta on the back, Ananta Sesha. Lord is sitting, and with one hand on Ananta, and the Lord is trying to get up, and he has put one leg on Ananta, one leg down, one is on the snake, with one hand pressed down, and he's almost like trying to get up, but he has not got up. This is the form of the deity, half got up and half still on the Ananta. Very strange. So what is this Leela? It has got connection with Srimad Bhagavatam. So we all know from the later chapters of 10th canto that a Brahmana lost his 9 sons. He lost 9 sons. And one day there was a sacrifice, a festival going on in Dwarka, and even Arjuna is present there. And Krishna was sitting there and performing pujas, and all of a sudden a Brahmana came. And the Brahmana came and he started screaming and blaming and cursing Krishna. What kind of a king are you? I curse that your children should die. Krishna, you are no more a king. You please step down. And he's cursing, he's shooting all kinds of bad things against Krishna. And Arjuna was like very disturbed. Why is this Brahmana doing like this? And Arjuna is very disturbed, and Krishna is acting as though Lord didn't hear him. And Krishna is continuing his puja. So Arjuna woke up, got up, and went and met this Brahmana and said, my dear sir, why are you doing this? Some auspicious festivals are going on, and why are you simply casting blames and, curses? Then the Brahmana asked, Arjuna, who are you? Arjuna said, I am the third of Pandavas, the son of Indra, who has fought with Lord Shiva. I have never seen anything called defeat in my battles. The Brahmana said, okay, thank you very much. Step away. And still he is going on cursing Krishna. Then Arjuna said, why are you doing? Please stop. You tell me, let me know. I will help you. The Brahmana said, no, you can never help me. No, no, you please tell me, sir, I will help you. Okay, listen. What if you can't help me? He said, there is nothing which I cannot do. If I am not able to do that, I will immediately conduct a fire and commit suicide. The Brahmana said, okay. For the last 9 years, I am coming at this doorstep. Every year, my wife delivers a baby and the son is dead. I'm coming continuously for last 9 years. But Krishna is not protecting me. He is not protecting my son. My wife delivers a baby, and by the time we lift the baby simply disappears, and we don't know what's happening. We don't see a demon, we don't see anything else, but the baby just disappears. Then Arjuna said, okay, I will come this time, and I will make a perfect, hermitage of arrows. Not even a ray of sun will enter that place. I will do this. And let me see who steals your son. And now the Brahmana's wife became pregnant for the 10th time, and the Brahmana informed Arjuna, and Arjuna went there, and with some celestial weapons, he made a compound wall. He made a complete covering against above the hut. Not even a tiny sun ray can penetrate. And even Arjuna felt very happy seeing his own feet. Then after some time, they heard that loud noise of the ladies that the 10th is a boy, and everybody was like singing songs. All of a sudden, the ladies screamed, the 10th boy also disappeared. Then Brahmana became furious. Arjuna, you told me that you will protect my son. Now conduct a fire and you jump inside and commit suicide. I want to see that. And the Brahmana was pushing Arjuna so much to commit suicide. And Arjuna was very disturbed. He took an arrow from the quiver, chanted Agneya mantra, the mantra of fire, and he shot on the ground. And immediately there was a kunda of fire. And Arjuna very hesitatingly, there is no one to help him, feeling so bad, and he was about to walk inside the kunda to commit suicide. All of a sudden, somebody pulled him from the back, and Arjuna turned and saw that was Krishna. And Arjuna immediately asked, my lord, where did you go for so long? Then Krishna asked, did you inform me before coming here? Did you inform and took permission for doing all these things? No, I thought I will help this Brahmana. I wanted to find his 10th son. Krishna said, okay, chalo, let's go. So Krishna took Arjuna on the chariot, and Bhagavatam very beautifully explains the chariot crossed the 7 layers of this material universe, traveled through Brahma Jyoti, the bright, brilliant light, and the chariot is entering Vaikuntha. That the whole palace with the 7 doors made out of wood, stone, silver, gold, and Vaikuntavasis with full opulence, chanting, singing songs, kirtanas, and they saw Lord Vishnu, Surya Koti Samaprabha, glowing like a million suns, Tejasvi, with a Shankha Chakra, Gada Padma, conch shell, mace, and 4 hands, and Lord smiling. The moment Lord saw Krishna and Arjuna coming together, a beautiful thing happened. Lord Vishnu got up from his seat to pay respects to Krishna. Immediately, Krishna showed by his eye, no, not needed, don't do this. So Vishnu is stuck. Almost he got up to pay his obeisances, and Krishna said no. So Vishnu sat down like that. Neither he sat down nor he stood up. And Vishnu gave a deity in that particular form and told Arjuna, this deity will be worshipped in Kali Yuga. So Arjuna brought this deity and installed in this particular village. So the place is called Tripunitura, very famous. The Lord is like, half seated and half woke up. So this is the village called Tripunitura, where Lord is there. So this is one of important temple, and Pandavas came here. They stayed here for a long time, and they worship this deity for long. So this is one among a holy place in Kerala, and even Srila Prabhupada is glorifying about this temple. Now, from this temple, we are traveling further north. In the same town in Cochin, there is another Divyadesam called Trikkakara. It's a Vamanji temple. Earlier days, it was in the remote interiors. Now the new national highway has come very close to the temple, so the temple is on the national highway side. One of the popular temples where a lot of devotees visit this temple. Very popular place. And it is called Tritkakara Vamana Temple. And inside earlier days, the temple was covered with or surrounded by lush green flowers and vegetables. And Kerala is also famous for different types of banana. You can in Kerala you can see the green bananas. You will get yellow bananas, and you'll also get red bananas, and you will get another kind of banana with the huge seeds inside. The seeds are something like bigger than pepper. Then you have ash banana, different kinds of banana. Then you have one very special banana. Locally, it is called Nendra Param. Nendra, that's the name of that banana, Nendra Param, Nendra, which is something like 1 foot or even sometimes big, more than that. One of the longest, biggest banana. This banana is there only in Kerala than in Brazil and nowhere else. So you will see different kinds of banana. So this big, long banana, something bigger than a cucumber, and this banana has a very special story with Vamanji. So earlier, this temple was inside a remote jungle, and hardly few people visit there. Not much pilgrims, not much devotees. So there was no money to conduct services in the temple, no flowers to offer, no fruits to offer, and the pujari doesn't get any dakshina, no money. So how can he conduct his services? So finally, he decided, I will myself cultivate some fruits and vegetables and flowers, and we will use that in the service of Vamanji. So the Brahmana started working hard, Pujari started working hard, and in his spare time, he used to plow the land, cultivate different kinds of flowers, different kinds of fruits. And slowly he was using that flowers to serve Krishna, offer to Vamanji. Then he had one banana tree. And every day he will check whether the banana is raw or ripe. So that once if it is ripe, I can offer it to Vamanji. So every day he was like going and pressing and checking the banana and all. Then it's almost ripe. So he decided, tomorrow I will pluck this bunch of banana. And luckily he got a big one, very big one with so many bananas. So he was very happy. Tomorrow morning, first thing, I'm going to pluck this banana and, I will offer it to Vamanji. Because in Kerala with bananas, they do so many things. They make fries, sabjis, they make all kinds of things with banana. So he made a wonderful, he dreamt about having different kinds of dishes, cuisine, plans, and this Brahmana went to sleep. Next day, morning, he woke up and he came to the garden, and to his surprise, somebody stole that whole bunch of banana, the huge one. He was very upset. Brahmana was very upset. He was like pained. How could someone do this to me? And this is meant for Vamana, Vamandev. How can somebody do this? And that disturbed him, and he felt very bad. Then he went and sat in front of Vamanji, and he offered a manasa banana. Through mind he offered. Because it's offering through mind, so he didn't restrict it. So he imagined, like meditated that banana is like double the size. The big ones, more than 1 foot and solid, big one. And he started meditating like that. And because there is no expense for meditation and there is no limit for your mental power, so he was like thinking as though you're offering a big banana. And in Nectar of Devotion, Krishna says, Prabhupada writes, Krishna accepts manasa puja also. If we offer mentally also, Krishna accepts. So he offered a big banana, right? Then he opened his eyes after meditation and he found exactly the same size of banana which he offered through mind. Krishna accepted that banana and gave it back as prasad to this Brahmana, the big bananas. So, netra means eyes. Because the Brahmana offered this banana to the vision of Krishna or Vaman Dev, to the netras of Vaman Dev, this banana got the name Netra Param, Netra. So this is a big banana. After that, the tree started giving same type of bananas, the big ones. And that's how this big bananas came into existence. It's accepted by Lord Vamanji. So very special temple with so many, fruit trees and flower trees. And this is one among the Divyadesam. And the Alvars had traveled here from Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya. And they have also, glorified this deity. One of the very beautiful temple, Trikakara Vamanji temple. Then from there, we travel another an hour. We go to another village with a Shiva temple, very important for Vaishnavas too. And Alvars visited this Shiva temple also. It's called Trikotiyur Shiva temple. Trikotiyur Mahadev Shivji Mandir. So very interesting pastime. There was a devotee. He mastered Bhagavatam. Even today in Kerala, there are some pandits who chant all the 18,000 shlokas by heart, and one great pandit who passed away some 6-7 years back, he has read Bhagavatam, chanted Bhagavatam 3,000 times. He passed away and there was a big honor and festival on his passing away. So a lot of pandits are there and they're called Bhagavata Acharyas or something like that. They give different kinds of explanation and things like that. So one great devotee, very good, very poetic, and so sweetly he used to chant the shlokas of Bhagavatam. He had different ragas for different chapters, very melodiously, and people will be like moved and purified to listen his explanation. Very sincere devotee. So once people called him in this Shiva temple and asked him to read Bhagavatam, and he was reading daily. Then he came to the chapter Rukmini Harana, how Rukmini was kidnapped by Lord Krishna. Then he finished explaining the chapter. Then he kept a bookmark, closed the book, and he went back home. Next day he came, he found the bookmark is exactly at the beginning of the chapter. Somebody has replaced it. So he thought maybe somebody wanted to listen this chapter once again. Maybe that's why. So he chanted and explained the chapter again. Then he left a bookmark at the end of the chapter. And third day he came, again the bookmark is in the beginning. And he was wondering what is happening, but he didn't question. He thought it must be some will and wish of some devotees. I don't want to hurt them. So he kept on explaining the same chapter again and again and again. It was going on like that. Then one day after explaining and reading, chanting the shlokas, he went back home, and on the way he remembered he forgot his key in the temple. So he came rushing. He wanted to take the key and the temple is almost locked by the puja. They were closed. As he reached the temple, he could hear a huge roaring sound from inside the temple. and some people are screaming and laughing, and he was like, who's this making such a heavy noise? Like Rakshasa, somebody screaming and laughing. So he came close to the temple and he started peeping in. He was trying to see what's going on. He was shocked. Lord Shiva is sitting on Vyasasan and reading the same chapter, Rukmini Harana, how Krishna kidnapped Rukmini. And Mother Parvati, Durga, Ganeshji, Kartikeya, and all the Bhutaganas, ghosts and goblins, they were all sitting and listening to the chapter, and they were laughing and screaming and roaring and making sounds. And Mahadev, with full bliss and ecstasy, he's reading the chapter with smiles and tears. And at the end of the chapter, Mahadev asked Mother Parvati, how was that? Mother Parvati said, it's so sweet, but the devotee chanting is better than yours. She was telling Lord Shiva, the devotee was doing better than and the devotee heard all these things and witnessed, and he had hair standing, romancha, hair standing on the end, tears gliding down. And Lord Shiva said, yes, very true. That devotee was chanting so nectarian. That's why, I was removing the bookmark and keeping it on the chapter every day. I wanted to hear this chapter again and again from him. So the devotee was shocked. It was Lord Shiva who removed the bookmark. And Lord Shiva wanted to hear the chapter again and again. So even today in this temple, Lord Shiva is called as Bhagavata Bhakta, devotee of Bhagavatam. Imagine, Shiva is the devotee of Bhagavatam. And he reads this chapter again and again and again and nourishing. So in this temple, they read Bhagavatam. I don't think in Lord Shiva's temple, they read Bhagavatam every day. So this is one temple, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Devotees take turns and they come and sit and read Bhagavat every day in this temple. Beautiful temple, beautiful Mahadev temple where Harinam and Bhagavatam is going on. So we take darshan and we pray to the Lord that, Lord Shiva, that we also develop so much devotion and attachment towards Bhagavatam and holy name. Then we travel further to another town called Tiruvalla, and there is a huge Sri Vallabha deity. Like in Mukundamala Stotra, Maharaja Kulashekara sings, Shri Vallabheti Varadeti Dhaya Pareti Nateti Nagasayaneti Jagannivaseti Alapinam Pratidinam Kurumam Mukunda. Sri Vallabheti, Sri Vallabha, very majestic, royal and beautiful, handsome deities there, Sri Vallabha. It's like Lord is standing like 7 feet, something like real form. Lord is standing with a broad smile, having Shankha Chakra and Gada and Padma. And he also has got, I don't know what you call it. In the Uluka Bandhan, you have that stick, which we pound in the Uluka. We use that long stick. I don't know, in Sanskrit, they call it Musari. Musri, something like that, a long stick which they use to pound grains, and he has got that also. So Vallabha, and this is the only temple where Vaishnavas are performing puja for thousands and thousands of years. Because Shankaracharya is from this place, once Shankaracharya traveled and took over all the temples. All the Vishnu temples have got Shankarites doing puja. So the puja will be mostly like Shankara method. So this is Sri Vallabhji is the only temple where Vaishnavas do puja, and all Ekadashis people take it very strictly, observe in the temple and the locals around. And the deity is also called Lord of Ekadashi. Sri Vallabhji is also called Lord of Ekadashi because he protects devotees who takes Ekadashi. Very special, very strange. There was one elderly lady, wife of the priest, Pujari's wife. And she had never been to school and she doesn't know how to read and write. And, but she was very sincerely following Ekadashi and chanting Krishna's names. So in this temple, the glory of this temple is anybody who observes Ekadashi and chant Krishna's names will be completely protected by Sri Vallabha Bhagwan. So this elderly lady and her husband used to see the calendar and say, okay, next Ekadashi is on 12th of this month, next Ekadashi is 24th. And she has never gone to school and she has never read books and she doesn't know how to calculate Ekadashi and see calendar, etc. So after some time, her husband passed away and she found it very difficult to calculate Ekadashi. So what she did is she got 15 tamarind seeds. So every day she will move one by one. And when the 15th day comes, she observes Ekadashi. But we all know that in calendar, sometimes Ekadashi comes one day after, one day before. There's a small change always. So sometimes she takes Ekadashi on the wrong day. And Ekadashi day, she will not, even sip water, nirjala, and full day chanting Krishna's name. And Dwadashi, she will take bath and pray to Sri Vallabha. And first she will serve some Vaishnava, some Brahmana, some devotees. Then she will break the fast. This is her custom. But off lately, what happened, because she was counting with the tamarind seed, many times the Ekadashi was on the wrong dates, not on the right one. It was like the wrong date. And people were used to make fun of her. They will say it is Nanika Ekadashi. This is not the original Ekadashi. This is old Granny Ekadashi. And people don't come to eat in her house and thinking, this is not Ekadashi. Why is she doing on the wrong dates? And when devotees don't take prasad, she starves. She starves, right? So Krishna, Sri Vallabhji felt very bad. So from that day, Sri Vallabhji, in the form of a devotee, Krishna will come to her house and honor prasad on every Dwadashi. Then Lord will make her eat. In this way, Lord honored all the Ekadashis of that old devotee. So Sri Vallabhji is a Lord of Ekadashi. So in this temple, devotees observe Ekadashi so sincerely. So anybody who follows Ekadashi and chants Krishna's name will be protected by the Sri Vallabha Bhagwan. So these are the beautiful, wonderful temples in Kerala, apart from Guruvayur and Anantapadmanabhji. So we traveled and had darshan of many important deities. So please do visit Kerala and take darshan of all these deities and blessings. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
RG Media YouTube channel. Like, share, subscribe.